to elevate.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Two Brothers channel. I'm one brother.
And I'm the second brother. Welcome, Rike.
I'm Rika. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back.
Stop. I'm having too much fun with this, it's true. So back to you, Mr. Phil.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Lay. Look, this is part 2 of Faking It Ain't Making It. There's so much to say. We couldn't put it all in part 1. And we do know that our videos, I don't think they're too long, but we try to not make them too long. Now, so part 2 of Faking It Ain't Making It. I hope you started to see how it's important to really not go on that path of trying to convince other people what you're not. Okay. Now, I promised that this happens for countries. You know, we said that Nigerians are known around the world as the spenders. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed, honestly. If you want to look good for the biggest holidays in the world, you will look at their clientele and their Nigerians. You want to go to the best restaurants in the world, look at their clientele. You want to go to places where you see the bill and your eyes will water. Look at their clientele, they'll be Nigerians. So these people kind of like look at us and they're thinking like, man, you people are rich. But what they don't understand is that just a very few of us are rich. But okay, so it happens for countries, okay? That disconnect is something that has to be fixed. Because China, a few years ago, let's talk about in the 80s, the Chinese were not really doing very well. And there was even a time where they actually stopped importing to China and started encouraging themselves. After the Chinese Revolution, Mao's revolution, they started saying, you know what, let us start producing for ourselves. And then you saw the Chinese, yeah, they went everywhere, they were snapping everywhere. They were even close to starvation because they were so populous, but they limited how much they were importing into their country. So there was a long time of them going through hard time, constricting themselves, cutting their coat according to their size as a nation. So obviously that encouraged production, that encouraged ingenuity, that encouraged things like, copying stuff, Mr. Clay.
Yeah, China, from what you just said about cutting their coat according to their size, they limited having, to one child. If
that's
each
another
family
thing.
have just one child.
Yes.
So they didn't just let their population keep exploding. And, and they're still, kind of like still just coming out of that kind of.
Now, yes. Please carry on, Mr. Clay.
So it's something that they had to take stock because they're a huge population. And they knew that they have to be producers. They can't be just consumers. And that's why they went to work. They went to work in technology. If you look nowadays, they're leading in technology. If you look, they're leading in manufacturing. Even when they're going outside the country and going to other countries, like, we see them all over Africa now. They're making sure that they keep everything in Chinese. They're not changing to local languages. They're keeping everything in Chinese, and they're importing the labor sometimes from China. Not even employing mostly local people.
Yeah.
So when they move away with the technology or whatever they built, it still belongs to them, and it's still maintained by them. Back to you, Mr. Phil.
Because they know the importance. They know the importance of these things. Yeah. And so one of the reasons why we're saying this is because we remember on the streets of London here in the 90s, to early 2000, you see Chinese pirating DVD, you know. And again, I keep reminding people that over here in London, you see them in the 90s everywhere. Honestly, you just thought Chinese is. Then suddenly they stopped. And what has they've taken, because when the pictures they're taking is that, okay, that looks interesting, they're taking it all to China to go and reverse engineer it and create their own solutions. Then they started doing pirated, they started doing copy, they started doing everything. Yeah. But have you noticed that over time their stuff start getting better? As a matter of fact, right now in Africa, it's only their product you can afford.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, I've said all that to say this. Someone posted today the countries with the most billionaires. Guess who is now number 2? China.
Wow.
China now has number 2 in the world, the most billionaires. Wow. The same China that were close to starvation in the 80s. What do you think that those wealth, and that's the billionaires, so we're not talking about the millionaires. And remember, a few years ago, you started hearing that the biggest buyers of the real estate in London were the Chinese.
Yeah.
Read care, please.
I can vouch for that because in my line of work, the 2 buildings which have just been developed, completely bought by Chinese buyers, all of them, that we even had to change our contracts to the traditional and modern Chinese. All of our instructions are in Chinese, you know, so literally the whole 2-3 buildings are occupied by Chinese buyers. Okay. So yeah.
So now we have the Chinese population is now wealthy. The same Chinese tax population. But what did they do? Did they fake it till they make it? Mr. Leia? Did they fake
it? You know, one of the amazing thing about our people is that, you know, Chinese people are they always look out. They have this unity amongst themselves. You know, one of my close friends in college was Chinese, and you know, at 16, 17, we were 16, 17 years old at the time. He had his own car. You know, he was very, very comfortable. Most time he used to, you know, buy this, buy that. Lunchtime, come with me. You know, that's why it was my close friends, because it was just it was nothing. It wasn't, you know, it was okay financially. So, and he was Chinese, so he wasn't very, you know, he was cool, but you know, he didn't have the
swagger,
you know. But you know, so and I used to play for the football team, so we became, you know, kind of we had the good. I made him popular, and he made me, you know.
He bought you lunch.
Not only did he buy me lunch, he used to pick me up in the morning to
okay.
So I used to be my ride as well.
Oh wow!
Why did they have all that? It's because they had a Chinese shop. And since he used to work for the Chinese shop, so in the evening he would do deliveries, he would do, you know, inventory. So, and they used to employ themselves, you know. And you know, even I was asking him for a job, and he was looking at me like,
we can't share our wealth like that. Our wealth is for us.
You know, because you can't, you know, there's no way you can fit in, you know. So so it's an industry where they always work together, and they look for themselves to work with, to partner with, which is something which is it always starts with the mentality. You know, the mentality, you know, where you know that we need to work together, we need to be together. One person doesn't, you know, we can afford to share.
Yeah.
You know, and then you know, then faking it, even if they fake it to get in the game, they soon develop better products to compete. Even if they come with a fake, because there was a time the whole world was flooded with fake goods from China,
Chinese, yeah.
made in China. Nobody wanted to touch it because, you know, the minute you buy it, it will break. But now, where's all those fake products?
Because they realize that they had to improve and improve. I was telling Rika today, there's a brand of clothing that I bought some years ago, Cotton Traders, to be precise. And Cotton Traders, when they started, good quality. And every year, Mr. Clay, I would say to myself, you know what, next year I'm not going to buy Cotton Traders. But Rika would testify to this. These people keep sending me catalog, any you can't even breathe because they keep sending us a catalog. But what happened is this, Mr. Clay? I'll say, no, I'm not going to buy it. Then I'm looking, oh, that looks interesting. Yeah. Then I would buy it. Yeah. And then I will notice, this is not a Chinese company. This is actually a British company. But I'll not of English company. No, I don't know company, but Cotton Traders, whoever. Don't quote me. But anyway, I noticed, Mr. Kinleye, that the quality of their products slowly but surely started increasing and getting better, to the point now that before I used to say, oh, I'm not going to buy Cotton Traders because this way is better quality. Mr. Clay, they have cotton up. So you know what that means? That means that all the profit they've been making all those years that the product was not really up to standard of everyone else, they were reinvesting it.
Yeah.
And they were improving their product. Now, yeah. I was telling Enrique, their product is as good as Gap now.
Wow.
The product is Cotton Traders is as good as what's it called now? Fat Joe and all those brands. Meanwhile, Cotton Traders started as the poor man. And I would say, no, I'm not going to buy anymore. But the quality. So they're now as good as Gap. They're now. So again, what are we saying? We're saying that it is about starting and it's about improving all the time, gradually. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not about, because if you fake it and there's no that type of improvement. Okay, another. Okay, let me finish that thought. If you fake it, you will fall off the cliff. Another thing that me and Mr. Claire was saying about faking it again is this. When you're faking it, you're caring about how you look to other people. So now you have to kind of get a big car. Now you have to go and live. You have to have a place that you are staying. You have to that is up to standard. Now you have to. Before you know it, just because you want to be successful, you've now gotten yourself in debt. You've now given yourself a worse start. Just because you want to look the part to people that don't really matter. Mr. Claire, what do you think?
That's tying your self-worth to people's opinion about you. You know, and pretending to be something that you're not so that they can respect you. Which, like Rick had already mentioned, you will struggle to maintain it, and then it will just come crashing down anyway, you know? And then everybody will look at you like, why waste your time? What is wrong with you? Just be yourself. You don't need all this, you know? You don't have to be, it's just like, you know, somebody saying, oh, I want to be making X amount of money. You know, oh, I'm making this amount of money, you know, or looking like you're making this amount of money. Everybody can see the Rolex watches, they can see the Beamer, you know, they can see the Mercedes Benz, they can see, you know, the diamond earrings, you know. They can see the diamond earrings, they can see the platinum teeth, You know,
Platinum drip, you know.
it's not gold anymore. It's platinum, you know. But when it comes to paying for coffee, you're stepping back. And everybody's like, coffee is coffee, bro. You know? So back to you. Back to you, Mr. Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Clay. Look, Rick, you've seen people, you know, do such things where they care so much about what other people think about them.
Mhm.
And you've seen me go through um, that pressure. How did I handle it? Because you're my daughter, you know, there's nothing that I can't hide anything from you.
Well, of course, there was the physical things that everybody could see. Oh, somebody's got a big house, somebody's got a nice car or something. But I don't think you ever like showed that you were under any pressure to be any type of way.
You know why I'm laughing? Yeah. Why I'm laughing is
You've always
because
seemed so
I'm a human being as well. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a human being. So I'm glad I didn't show it. But yeah, there are times where I had to refuse being oppressed. I had to refuse it, like, no. You're going on your journey. Your journey is different from that person's journey, obviously. You don't know what they're doing. They're not telling you what they're doing. They've come with the, you see the four-wheeler, and I'm sure a lot of Nigerians in Nigeria would relate to this. You know, you see the flashy things, and you're like thinking, and I have to refuse being oppressed. Mr. Clay, has it happened to you before?
Well, it happens every day, you know, because now it seems they've made Mercedes cars look like, you know, normal cars now, because everybody has to be driving a Mercedes. You know, if you're not driving a Mercedes, you're not somebody to be reckoned with. And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I was like, you know what? I don't need a car. Which was like, it was like, I said, because especially in London, just finding parking is a headache. So why do I need a car? You know? And he was like, well, yeah, it's a good point, because if you need to go somewhere, you can just get Uber.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there's plenty of those. And then I said, now that they're making electric cars, right? So I was like, you know what? I think the car that I want to buy is a Bentley 4x4. You know, and he was like, wow. I was like, but I don't need it. Back to you, Mr. Phil.
You see, there's a Yoruba saying that says, kì í fa go alago ṣiṣẹ́, which means that you shouldn't use the timing of other people to work. Mr. Clay is not putting it on there to say that he could afford a Bentley, but he doesn't need it. Honestly, in the UK, easily done. Just go and sign. Just go and sign and you will have a brand new Bentley. The only thing is that you better have your finances in order.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you'll be shitting pepper. Excuse me. Excuse my language. You'll be going to toilet exploding pepper. Mr. Clay.
Well, the thing is, you know, they're not gonna say you can't have whatever you want to buy.
And the facilities are there easily.
And but the thing is, they will put you into slavery for it. And this is where a lot of, I think, a lot of wives and partners will pressure somebody to go into those kind of financial commitments and debts where their family doesn't really need it, but because they want to keep up with the Joneses and they have their friends and their family, oh, they went to Bahamas last year. Where are we going this year? Or we have to top Bahamas. We can't tell them we're going to France because they went to Bahamas. So at least Bahamas, but are we earning Bahamas money? Are we gonna take that money that we should be spending on our kids and spending on a holiday to impress people so we can showcase? That's why I love the fact that we had COVID, that nobody could travel anywhere really. Because then, keep that money, use it for something more.
Thank you. Invest that money. Look, wow. This is why it's difficult for someone like me. And this is why sometimes it is, when I say these kind of things, people go, oh, Mr. Phil, you said that. You see, it's not just about Mr. Phil looking good. It's just not about Mr. Claire looking good. It's not just about our, ability to spend. We can have a car. Look at our situation as Black people in this world. Let's be frank. Look at our situation as Black people in this world. Is there anything we control? But we want to control looking good amongst just each other. Just amongst, as long as I'm better than you, then I'm fine. No, you're not. As long as I can prove that, I'm better than that person that is a Nigerian, then I'm doing good. No, you're not. Not in this world where nothing is under your control. Right now, 100% of what was using in Nigeria is imported. You know what that means? That means they have cornered you. That means everyone else, every other community has cornered the Black community. It's about time we take responsibility, cut back, cut our coat according to our size. We don't have any business right now as Black people being the top of the list of customers of the high-end things. We don't have any business when we're not producing anything. We should be ashamed. But no, because our value system is so warped. Our value system is so corrupted that we think, oh, just as long as I'm doing better than Mr. Leye, then I'm okay. No, you're not. You're being stupid. Look, other communities, there's nothing that is in your control. Your security is not in your control. You don't manufacture guns.
No.
You don't manufacture bullets. Your food is not in your control. You import rice. You import everything. Your clothing is not under your control. You buy it from other communities. So where is this coming from? It's coming from, excuse me, stupidity. Sorry, Mr. Clay.
No, that needed to be said, Mr. Phil. That needed to be said and heard, because that is the hard, cold truth. Because, we are not each other's competition. Let's just get that one out of the way. If you're looking at your brother in the same family or your friends, your clique of friends that you grew up with, and you're thinking you're each other's competition, then you have it totally twisted.
Completely.
There's go and take on the Jeff Bezos of this world. Go and take on the I don't want to say Bill Gates, but you know what I mean. the people of this world, if you want to play that game, but you should be empowering each other. And it's all about empowerment. And this is another thing that gets me, because you're faking it and then you disappear. Nobody knows what happened to you.
Oh, you know why? Because after they fake it, like I said, they fall off the cliff. Then they have to go and hide. They have to go and hide. Because after faking it, you can't maintain it. What is left? You have to drop off the earth.
The bottom comes off. And everybody's wondering what happened to him. We can't find him anymore. He's not even picking up his calls.
You see, one of the things that Mr. Clay will remember me saying is that I've made a commitment many years ago that whatever I start, I keep on with it. You know why I say that? It's because growing up in Nigeria, growing up in Africa, I saw so many people. Oh, they were doing well, nice. They were doing very well once. Then suddenly, they disappear. Or they go down. Oh, used to do well once. Oh, and as a young man, I thought to myself, you know what? That is not something that I want to ever experience. If I start going up, my trajectory is gonna be. So I'm don't want to be one of these stars that will go. Then that's what we're used to in Africa. Why not be something that just continuously just goes brighter and 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 brighter to infinity? Why not, Mr. Wike?
Yeah, why not? Why not? It might be harder said. It might be easier said than done. But you got to pay the price for it. So I don't know. They say that it's easier for you to light another candle with an already lit candle. So if you're able to continue on that trajectory, what's stopping you? You can be able to start empowering other people along your journey as well. So why not?
That's the only way. It's the only way. Rika, sorry, carry on. If don't let me cut you.
No, I was done.
You were done.
So
okay.
It's building teams, like you said there. Building teams, empowering people. This so-called your competition. I know it's something that is deeply is a programming thing, but you need to connect with them, see if you can work with them, and find like-minded people. Like Mr. Phil used to say, find those people that choose to come on the journey with you.
Yeah.
And work with those people and build those teams, because it's not just about you. If they come and take you away, nobody knows.
Who's gonna say anything? Who's gonna say anything? But if you think about it, yeah, Mr. Clay, Chinese are becoming bold and bold in this world now. You know why? Because like we said, they're now top of the list of billionaires in the world now. But notice what we said, and notice what Rika said earlier. They're buying properties around the world. Not just these billionaires, no, they're coming like an army.
Yeah.
So they're not just empowering a few. No, they're spreading that empowerment. So it's now become, and you can see, look, they're flexing their military muscles as well.
Yeah.
Do you know that even in Africa now, there's some places, maybe in Zambia, I heard, maybe in South Africa, they have their own police station. Mr. Clay, they don't let the local police them.
No, definitely. I've seen the pictures.
Yeah. So police, wherever they are in Africa, they're answerable to China, not to the sovereign country that they're in. What do you think that is? They're spreading. So where are we worshiping Chinese? No. But when you see a good example that is worth emulating, you'll be a fool not to emulate what is worth emulating. Ricket.
I agree. You'll definitely be a fool not to emulate what is emulating. In terms of the Chinese example, this is the perfect example that us as a Black community can use in order to to inspire ourselves. We spoke about them coming from basically nothing.
Yeah.
People buy their products, you know, most of their things were fake, but now they've been improving to the fact where they're the number one people who are selling things, and we're the ones who are buying them. So why can't we be on the same level where we slowly begin to start improving and producing things for the world? And then we can also be on the same page, because, you know, without that, there's nothing. Back to you, Mr.
Let me quickly say this. Sorry, thanks, Rika. Let me quickly say it before I forget it, because I don't want to forget it. You see, we certainly are smart people as Nigerians and Africans. All Africans are smart people. We're gifted, we're able. Okay. Nigeria, where I come from, the eastern part, the Igbos, the eastern part, because Nigeria is, let's say, major. We know that there are more tribes, but let's just say major blocks in Nigeria is Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa. Okay. The Yoruba side, okay, it's obvious that we're creative. You can see the musicians coming. You can see it in the arts. You can see it in that's our strength. The Igbos, they're manufacturers. The Igbos are actually our own Chinese in Nigeria right there. You Igbo made. Igbo made is Chinese made. Our own. But guess what? They discouraged it.
Yeah.
If you're hearing this and you're Igbo, don't let them discourage your wealth. That is the wealth the universe has given you. The houses, agriculture, nobody's better than them when it comes to rearing cattle. Those are our people. So Yoruba, creative. Now, are we saying creative is better than this? Creative is better than manufacturing is better than agriculture? No, they are all needed.
Yeah.
And God has given it all to us. But guess what? While God has given it in our hands, we're busy looking elsewhere. Everywhere but what we've got. Mr. Clay.
Well, you said there is, you know, we have Nollywood. I mean, we have the music industry that's come out of what the current construct that is called Nigeria. And, you know, when you put that alongside the industries around the world, Nollywood is right up there with, you know, with Bollywood in India, with, you know, the Hollywood itself. They're not looking down on you. They're looking you as peers, you know, and you've actually outgrown them in terms of production. And but what, you know, like what we say is that we just want to encourage you, you know, to put the foundations in place, to put the, you know, the theater schools in place, to bring out the new latest talents, you know. So it's not just the same group of people, you know, to just continue to hone your skills. The Igbos continue to produce what, you know, the clothes, the raw materials, everything that we need, you know, and buy from each other, buy Nigeria made, you know, and look at supporting yourself first before you look at somebody else's, you know. Let that money circulate within your community, you know, and also as well. So let's stop all this divide and conquer. You know, you're my enemy, I'm your enemy. You know, no. But listen, we are all slaves in this world, in this today's world. The truth be told, you know. So we need to come together first, liberate ourselves first, before we can then start saying, "Oh, I want to do this on my own." You know, let's come together rather than see each other as enemies.
Some people will hear Mr. Claire say we are all slaves, then we go, what do you mean we're slaves? Okay. In today's world, actually, it's not even about color now. If you are in a job and you have credit card debt, you're a slave.
Full stop.
Let me repeat that. Whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're green, in this world, it's not racism anymore, it's economism.
Mm.
And as it is for individuals, so it is for nations.
Mm.
So if you're in a job and you have credit card debt, that means that debt, that credit card has earmarked a portion of your production every single month. What makes you different from a slave? The only thing is that they're not taking all your production, but they're taking a sizable one.
Yeah.
So we're just being real. And when you're real, then you see where the work needs to be done. And as it is said, so it's not faking it till you make it. No. It's making it till you make it.
Mm.
You gotta make it till it's made. It's making it small, making it bigger, making it bigger, making it bigger. But it starts with making it. Okay? Oh, yes. Some of the things you make might not be good enough and they will call it fake. But guess what? You made something.
Mm.
Let me repeat that. Oh, yes. Some of the things that you made may not be the best quality, but you made something.
Oh, yeah.
Now, because you made something, you cannot improve it. And
Yes.
cannot make it better. And cannot make it better. Again, like I told you, I know we're using Chinese and Japanese because it was true. In the 70s, nobody would touch a Japanese car. Quick story. My car broke down in the UK and AA came and the guy, I think, was it a Vauxhall I was driving that day, or was it, he got there and he said, I knew it's not going to be a Toyota. I'm like, huh? I said, I knew it was not going to be a Japanese car because he said 20 is okay. Now, these Japanese cars, they've gone from being completely unreliable to be the most reliable because this guy, AA guy, is a mechanic on the streets of London. He said he has never in 25 years of working been called to repair a Japanese car's engine, that the car broke down and it was engine problem. He says it's either going to be lights or it's going to be battery. But he has never been called to, or tire, come and change the tire, light, battery, tire. But the engine, so what are we saying? Japanese went from being the car that will break down before to being the ones that even the ones in the industry are swearing by now that they are the best when it comes to efficiency and reliability. But again, look at what we're saying. They started from the reputation of being the ones that used to break. Because when they started then, it was the Germans that used to have the efficiency. It was the Italians that used to have the style. Now, slowly but surely, Lexus has taken over.
This is where what you just said there is, it doesn't have to be perfect for you to even support it. Because you're looking down the line. So you're supporting it, because the Japanese cars, the way they created employment, the way they got better was because the people, it takes time. Human beings, we're not perfect on day one. It takes time. Even a Nigerian restaurant in the UK, when you go there, support them, encourage them. Black-owned businesses encourage each other. Say you can get better, give them positive feedbacks. Say you can do this a little bit better, change this for me, and patronize them, because your income, the money you're spending with them is what is going to make it better in the years to come. and it will be what would actually create that industry that can employ millions and millions of people. It's not, you can't wait for the government to come up with jobs. Because what you find is that you have 200 million people to employ, and the government is coming up with 4,000 jobs. What's that gonna, it's like, oh yeah, we've created jobs. How many? 4,000. No.
That will put you into depression. Rike, what are your thoughts?
I was just thinking, comparing a new product or a new service to a baby. Nothing is perfect. Babies, when they're born, they don't know anything. They're new to the world. So we nourish them, we protect them, we advise them. We're not strict, we're not harsh on them. When they make mistakes, we say, oh no, this is the way you'll do it better. So in terms of the Black community, I feel like we need to take that same approach within ourselves. Like a new business, say for example, maybe they're a restaurant or they've created a product and it's not the best, but they're new, so of course it's not going to be perfect. You can't expect that from a brand new product. So instead of chastising, we should all be encouraged to give constructive criticism rather than butchering each other, because how else is somebody going to grow? How else is the business going to grow without proper constructive criticism, not badgering them? We have to be nurturing to each other so that we can all grow as a community. So I just encourage everybody to be more kind. And back to you, Mr. Phil.
I'm laughing because, you see, I sold insurance on the streets of London. I'm laughing because one day I walked into an Indian place trying to sell them insurance. You see, it's laughable, isn't it? Because I did not know better. I went to try to sell them insurance and the guy looked at me like, not until hell freezes over am I going to buy from you. I got my Indian mate. But it didn't say it, but I could see it inside. Because I just couldn't understand. Then when I left, I'm like, oh, they already have someone that they're already, and it doesn't look like me. And like, just quickly again, with what Rika was saying about that, supporting each other, you see, unfortunately, when one of us starts a business, that's when we're looking for discount. Why are you not giving me discount? Why are you not giving me more? Why is your price so high? Your price is, and you know what? The Indians actually, sorry to say this, I'm not happy to say this, but in the UK, the Indians are the ones selling the African food.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how is that? Because they price the Africans out of the market. They corner and push Africans out of even selling African food. So when an African opens his shop, his price, they make sure that they bring their own price lower than that African. So that African is on his own. Now you got 50 shops of the Indian. So they can all decide, okay, you know what, let's drop our price. Then we're now saying, why is your price so much? Look at Mr. Patel. Look at Mr. Shah. Their price is lower than yours. And that is how they've cornered the market here in the UK. Right now, if I want to buy a Lubo, now Mr. Patel. If I want to buy a Gucci, now Mr. Shah. Abi?
Well, it is very true, because they're right next door to you. You don't have to go far.
Making sure that money is not going to pass them by.
But I will encourage us, because there are Black-owned businesses. I will encourage us to get to know the owners, talk to the owners. Don't just go into the shops and buy. Ask questions. Who's the owner of this shop? Okay, so why is yours so expensive? Talk to them, have that dialogue. Say, okay, I want to be buying from you. So, you have to, I'll be coming back, So build those relationships.
Definitely. Because supporting them is supporting yourself ultimately. we have to round up, guys. Last words, everybody, and then we finish this one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Keep encouraging each other. Remember, nothing starts off perfect. Take care.
Excellent. This was Faking It Ain't Making It. So what makes it? Actually making it makes it. On that note, see you all next time. God bless.